Hi, my name is Dr. Ron, and I am doing an archive for my GENO 2.0. They are ending their studies. They completed their studies, and they are archiving their stuff, but we won't be able to reach it. So I'm doing this to archive it myself visually. I printed it out. I downloaded a bunch of stuff, but now I want to put it on YouTube so I have a permanent archive in case my hard drive breaks, my printed copies burn up, and I can't prove any of this stuff. So here it is right here. It says, this is by National Geographic. Okay, so this is good stuff. GENO 2.0. Genographic Project, January 2020 update. In short, the project was launched in 2005. Nearly 1 million people have participated in it. Effective May 31st, 2019. The kits will no longer be available. And the National Geographic in August of 2019 announced that the last day to submit would be January 2020. And then it says that the customers, us, those that participated, we have until June 30th, 2020 to download or save it. And then after that, it's gone for good. At least they'll have it or something. I don't know if it's going to be a 3.0 or not. So that's the purpose of this. Okay, so let's go to page 1. Okay, guys, here, National Geographic again. You got my name up there. Okay. The original of our species lies in Africa. It tells you that, okay? And you guys can just go ahead and read that there. So I am one of 1,652,542. I can't count right now. Okay, and if you guys can read this on a cell phone, pull it up. Okay, let me page down. Okay, so this is telling you my matches. Let me see if I can scroll up a little bit. Okay. Okay, they got present to 120,000 years ago. Okay, so these are my matches. It says I have 12 matches at 120,000 years, 65,000 years ago. So 65,000 years ago to 120,000 years ago. They're able to chase my paternal line and my maternal line. That's my father's father's father and my mother's mother's mother, going back to the beginning of time, to mitochondrial Eve and Y chromosome atoms. So you see the DNA, mtDNA, mitochondrial DNA, which is maternal, and your Y chromosome, which is your father. At 65,000 years ago, 45,000 years ago to 65,000 years ago, I have 4 matches. I have 1 match from 25,000 years ago to 45,000 years ago. I have 6 matches from 12,000 years ago to 25,000 years ago. And I have no matches at anything closer than that, and then it's me now. So there you can contact. So it says explore results, but we'll come back to that. My regional ancestry, 500 years to 10,000 years ago. So that's pretty accurate there. It's going to be mostly in Africa. So you can read that there. This is based on different destinations, human migrations out of Africa developed. Okay, and then you can go ahead and read the rest of that. I'll just put it on pause if you're watching this. Explore your results. I'll come back to that. As it tends to leave the page and jumps the page. But here's where it gets interesting. Okay, so it has my haplogroup, right? So they're going back from 1,000 years, your deep ancestry, 1,000 years to 100,000 years ago. My maternal line is HV2. Okay, it's a rare haplogroup, and it's 0.01% of participants. My paternal line is E-CTS 693, and both of these are real close. I could show on another website, FTDNA, Family Tree DNA. It's actually HV2A2, and ECTS 10132 is the final. But this was good for the price because the other ones were expensive. So it said modern humans started to leave Africa between 60 and 70,000 years ago. And that represents my mother. So the woman that came to the United States wasn't African at all, as I've learned. She was actually European. So if you Google this, you'll see that. They travel in the groups, taking up different paths and different destinations based on these haplogroups. Explore your results. We'll see those in a snapshot that I have later on. Your hominin, like Neanderthal. I should have very little Neanderthal. Okay, I'm only, the average person has 2.1%. I'm only 0.7%. Okay, Neanderthal. So I'm just little. Okay, as our modern ancestors migrated through Eurasia, they met their hominin species and interbred. These cousin species like Neanderthals are now extinct, but the genetic makeup of nearly everyone born outside of Africa today includes 1 to 2% DNA from hominins, living relics, and ancient encounters. Explore your results. Okay, we'll go ahead and go to the next one. Okay, this tells you that I have joined the group. Okay, they don't have a large enough database to break down like all the African countries. They'll just say West Africa. Unlike Ancestry.com and 23andMe, they're not going to say you're 23% Nigerian, 32% Congo. They pretty much just say West African. Okay, so I'm 84% West African, 4% Italian and Southern Europe, 4% Eastern African, 4% Eastern Europe, 2% Southern African. Okay, and as humans we migrated out. But you'll learn that both of my parents left Africa thousands of years ago. But that's another part of this thing, and I'll go ahead and explain that later. Tells you again I am 1,001 million, right? 6,542 of the participants. There's a small database that they have. That's why they just say West African and not Congo, not like the other ones. Okay, but their strong point is the haplogroups. So here's where it is. Then we'll come back to this. Okay, I'm going to give you a close-up of this, being that you probably can't read this on a cell phone. But you can see my maternal match. They mapped it back to 150,000 years ago. And it has my maternal branch is HV2. My full branch is HV2A2. And it starts in Africa, and she leaves out. And remember I said my mother was European, right? My ancestral mother, my great-great-great-grandmother. My mother's mother, she's European. She doesn't return back. On my father's side, my paternal lineage, they went back 180,000 years ago, right? And it has my paternal branch as ECTS 693. The full branch is ECTS 10132. It starts off again in South Africa, and that point there. It goes into Asia, right? My father left Africa, he goes into Asia, and then he goes up into North Africa, and currently resides in Europe, in those places. Okay? And these are the paths that your ancestors took. Okay, so I am back. So now I'm going to do a close-up of HV2A2. Okay, so you can probably read this better. So I can slide this over. There you go. I'll go ahead and come over here on this side. Okay, so I said my maternal lineage started 150,000 years ago. My maternal ancestors took part in early out Africa. They existed. That's what I said, right? Yeah, I didn't know that at first. And went into Asia. In Asia, they lived a nomadic lifestyle on open grass savannas, considered modern by humans. My ancestors met and mixed with early hominids like Neanderthals. Right? That's why I said, well, she's European. So that's what I discovered when I did DNA. And this is my paternal. And this is where my Moroccan Egyptian ethnicity comes from. Okay? I heard one guy, you're not from there. Stop stealing our stuff. Like, dude, I'm from there. My father's from there. But I have a lot of West African DNA. You can see it. Look at me, right? Okay. But this is who my father's father's father is. This is who he is. So he starts out in Africa and he goes into Asia. And from Asia, his family, these are over tens of thousands of years. He travels up to here. Okay? Oh, you can't see my mouse, so you can see the map. I'll read it to you. My paternal ancestors followed a migrations from the region of the Fertile Crescent and in the Northeast Africa. They moved across the shorelines of North Africa. My cousins are now part of the populations such as Berber people of the Atlas Mountains. The Berbers are traditionally livestock herders. Some who initially took this path appear to have later headed east to India. There, their lineages are found in the populations such as Chenchu, the Mahali, and the Buris. My paternal branch is ECTS 693. Full branch is ECTS 10132. And I'll take a break. So if they have anything else for that, and I'll be right back. Okay, transition 2, I am back. Okay, welcome back. Okay, so I got the next page up. It is on GENO 2.0, National Geographic, so you know everything is true. Okay, your genius matches. So this is saying from present to 120,000 years ago. Now this is going chasing back my father's father's father, back to Y chromosome Adam and mitochondrial Eve. What they mean by that is that there were other humans with Adam and Eve. In the Bible, Old Testament, Adam had 3 sons, right? Right? Cain, Abel, and Seth. With no daughters. Plus, I think that wouldn't be right anyway if we were descendants of stuff like that. Although one of my cousins, I think, did that. Ancestors, I meant. Ramses. Okay. So this is telling you 100. This father of mine, these are his children as well. So I am one of his kids, and these are his kids. Okay, and that's what it's telling you. I have 12 matches. Let me see if I have that thing of a paternal. Let me see if it's all the way down here at the bottom. Let me see. There it is. Let me go down here first to explain this first. In case you go, no way. There it is. Okay, so what this is saying is the size behind the matches. You have paternal on the left in the blue and maternal in the magenta. Okay? A person existed at some time, right? So let's say 60,000, 120,000 years ago. On the father's side, he has sons. So he has 2 sons here. One of his sons became, what's that Benjamin Franklin, it looks like. Right? And then you got, what's that, the French dude? I just forgot his name. You got Marie Antoinette, Abraham Lincoln. And then there's me. You got, what's that, Bonaparte, right? Okay? So it's telling you that this is how we're related, okay? Because you're going to have Queen Victoria and all that stuff there. So if you want to know how that's done, that this is how that's done. So let me scroll back up, and then we'll come back down again, okay? I can do incremental, okay? Let me go, oh, that's not what I wanted. Sorry about that. Okay, so this tells us what happened 120,000 years ago. So the dawn of the new ice age, humans have learned to hunt, gather plants and roots. Always adapting to changing land, our ancestors are still limited to Africa, but have spread west, south, and north across the dark continent they call home. Okay, so this is telling you that at 65 to 120,000 years ago, this particular person, he fathered one of our United States presidents, Abraham Lincoln. So he was president of the United States, and he would end the Civil War for those of you outside the United States to help free the slaves, which is what I also descend from. So me and Abraham Lincoln share a common father, and me and all the people here share a common father. So this one individual, he's our father. So me go ahead and minimize this. I'm his son, and these are his sons as well. So you got Abraham Lincoln, right? United States President. Okay. You have Genghis Khan, military genius. You can read the stuff underneath it. You got Leo Tolstoy, literary genius. It'll tell you which match I am, paternal or maternal. You have Charles Darwin, the Darwin effect, right? Scientific genius. You have Nicholas Copernicus, mathematical genius. You have Thomas Jefferson, political genius. You have King Tut. To my Moroccan and Egyptian brothers out there, I told you guys. Some guys didn't believe me. I said no. Right? So we come back to this. I said, if you look where that arrow ends at, that's my father's father's father. That's his ethnicity. Now, is he the same Egyptian and Moroccan that's there today? I don't know. Take the test and find out. But this test is ending. We can take another test. Okay? So that's King Tut. You can read that. 1341 BC to 1323 BC. Okay? You have Sir Francis Drake. Okay, ocean genius. You got Nikola Tesla, engineering genius. King Richard of my royal lineage. Okay, you got Alexander Hamilton. And you got Martin Luther, who Martin Luther King took his name from. Okay, so that's at that time period, right? So this is saying, now this guy probably had 1 million kids. Or how many million? But how many died in wars, sickness? How many are here today? They only tested 1 million people. Someone special? I don't know. But also you cannot be a descendant of a female. So in that line, if I have a female sister from my father, then she won't know this, but I can give this information to her. Okay? Okay, so let's go to the next one. Page up. In a time period of 45,000 years ago to 65,000 years. And this is my maternal side, my mother's side. This is her children. Okay? So I'm related to Abraham Lincoln twice, but we'll start with patriarch, poetic genius. Let me read what the world was doing then. So humans have just ventured out of Africa, which she did, on their way to conquer the world. Yet these pioneers are still limited to South and Southwest Asia. True, she went to Iran, where they are encountering new animals and plants, like nothing they have known from the ancestral Africa. True. When my mother left Africa 65,000 years ago, she lived in Iran, and our family is buried in Syria. Okay, they found my DNA in Syria. Okay, so let's go on. Patriarch, poetic genius, maternal match, Abraham Lincoln. Remember, he was on my father's side, now he's on my mother's side, so I'm related to him twice. U.S. President, okay, King Richard again, right, royal genius, right, and outlaw, Jesse James. So that is my mother's ancestral son. And remember when I said, when I discovered, oh, she's not black, she's European. There you go, Jesse James in them, right? And then look at the family, look at me, right? Okay. Okay, I have one match, 45,000 to 25,000, or 25,000 to 45 years ago. And that is, again, Ramses. Okay? Right? Okay? So the humans have now reached Europe, Asia, and Oceania, and have encountered other hominid species along the way. Hunting large game is a way of life, and cave dwelling is commonplaces. Ramses. So that is my paternal match. That's my father's side. Remember, his other son was King Tut. Now it's Ramses. Okay, the third pharaoh from the 19th dynasty in Egypt. Okay, he won battle over the Hittites and battle of the Kadesh. Okay, this is the one I said that I think he married his sister. I think that's what I meant by that. He's suspected and has this great warrior, resulting in the first known peace treaty. He lived to be 90, outliving most of his 200 wives and concubines, 96 sons and 60 daughters. His name and accomplishments is described in Egypt, one end of Egypt to the other. Okay, and that's a, so Right? Well, he had concubines, so those were his wives. Okay, so that's enough about him. And this is my maternal match. Okay, so the human world, is that 20 minutes already? That's okay. The human world 25,000 years ago, while the world is still in the throes of the Ice Age, human settlement in temperate Europe and Asia, and replacing the Neanderthal and Denisovans. Some lineage spreads deeper into Oceania, while others reach the doorway to the Americas. Okay, so this is my mother's ancestral daughter. So she leaves Africa. This is one of her daughters, Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria should be the great grandmother of Queen Elizabeth. Okay, the great granddaughter of Queen Elizabeth. So where's my throne? Where's my castle? Again, notice the difference in how we look, right? Right. That's how I know what my grandmother was too. Besides reading the fact that they put my DNA in Siberia too. That's another story. Okay, Queen Victoria was the longest serving monarch of British Empire and oversaw some of the greatest, specifically industrial, across aspects across the society during an age of great advancement, the Victorian era. Okay, right? And again, Nicholas Copernicus. Right? Remember, he was on my father's side. Now he's on my mother's side. So my family are crossing. Benjamin Franklin. Again, notice for those in the United States. Again, see the difference? Okay. Marie Antoinette. Okay, historical genius. Okay. And Napoleon, military genius. He's my maternal and paternal match, right? He's on both sides. And you'll see this on the, I'll bring up something from another website. And of course, Maria Theresa. Maria Theresa was a queen amongst queens. Her title continuously changed as the geography and continental of Europe evolved as nations has split. Okay. Maria was at one time Holy Roman Empress, Queen of Bohemia, and Archduchess of Austria. She's the mother to 16 children. The most famous, which daughter is Marie Antonia, known as Marie Antoinette. Of course, so that's her daughter. Then we share the same mother. And I have nothing besides that. So we go a page down. I explained this before. This is how it works. So a person exists at the top. And this would be me here. Okay, and this here explains to you how did they find out, how they got that and stuff, so you guys can read that there. You can read the questions there. Okay, I'm going to go on pause. Okay, we are back. Okay, so I'm at the next page. Now this is going to show me as a group. So this is 500 years to 10,000 years ago, right? Way more recent than that. So let's see what they got. So we are more of a sum of our parts. You can read that. This is their autosomal part. So the other results you saw were, let me see, they have a map here or what? Like a map should be there. If not, I'll bring it over. I can't see it here, so it might be blocked out. I'm running the web page through a program. Okay, so, oh yeah, again, so West Africa, 84, Italy, Southern Europe, 4, East African, 4, Eastern European, 4. Oh, let's click on it and see what happens. Okay, you can read that. The West African component of your DNA roots are likely 100,000 years old, spanning most western region of sub-Saharan Africa. African Americans, which is what I am, as well as other African diaspora groups, share this lineage. The split between a clusters and hunter-gatherers of Central and Southern African forests. The desert dates back to out of Africa event more than 60,000 years ago. In more recent times, farming began in Nigeria, which I mostly am, and quickly expanded east, south, and then southwest. Within the last 2,000 years, Bantu farming, which I also am, with origins in West Africa, which I am again, spread throughout Africa. A mixture of resident population. This cluster spread with the historic Muslim expansion in the Middle East, and New World slave trade. Today, this ancestry is seen in people with West African roots, including Senegalese, Ghanaians, Liberian, Guinean, Nigerians, as well as people with more Saharan ancestry such as Mali, Mauritania, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Chad. Throughout the Western world, African ancestors, Afro-Caribbean and Afro-Brazilian, also carry this genetic fingerprints in high numbers. Let's see, is this going to page down or what? View continents. Okay, your second reference population is Senegalese. Okay, let me see. The large Western African component reflects the influences and spread of Bantu speaking across the continent. North African components reflect mixing with populations of North and East Senegal, whereas European components reflect the influence of European superpowers on West Africa and a long history of colonialization and region by France. Okay, and they have the Senegalese, a typical person, I guess, versus me. I got a lot of African DNA. Probably I have more than Senegal and more than Nigerians. I think, yeah, European, West African, and then there's me. They're at 82%. I'm at 84%. Let me see. Okay, so this is going to my Italy and Southern Europe. The Iceman Ozzy, you could just read that stuff there. Okay. There you go, Eastern Africa. Trying to bring up the next one. Just gonna take a minute. Okay, you got Eastern Europe, and that's telling you where that's at. Poland, Germany, Austrian, the empires. Remember I said about that both my parents left Africa, and it appears that two European people came to the United States and intermixed with people in the United States. Who they mixed with, I don't know. But from North Africa, on family tree, most of the people are like in Europe, the family there. That'd be my father's lineage. But that's I did another video. I attached it to DDD by a Moroccan rap group, and I was sort of showing, hey, we have similar, right? We go to South Africa. Okay, we're back on, and I got Southern Africa probably finally came up, and that's what they have. Native to humanity birthplace. That's where men and women began. Okay, and see, so that today this lineage occurs highest in frequency in the Kosian people, the famous Sand Bushmen from Kalahari Desert, as well as neighboring groups such as South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. Okay, so let me see what else we got on this page. I think that's it. Yeah, I went down here already before. Okay, and I brought in some supporting page that I meant to bring up before. and that's this right here. All right, so it's the same thing. This is from WeGene.com. All right, it's a Chinese company. Okay, and they have the same thing. They list my haplogroup above as E1B, 1B, 1A, 1A, and it'll tell you the same thing. You still have Napoleon. If you scroll down, it tells you the age of this group. Right, this is the same thing. This is the paternal lineage. Right, they have Napoleon again on my mother's side. You have Napoleon. If you go back, you remember I said, well, I'm related to him twice. Right, it has Adolf Hitler in it. Okay, and Albert Einstein. Okay, and you'll see a bigger picture. I didn't take a picture. Change the website around. Let me see if I can get the other picture up. Okay, oh, let me get over here. So this is part of that paternal lineage. So it backs up the same thing. The other one left off the Adolf Hitler because probably people didn't want. I don't know. But that would be one of my father's sons as well. So all of these are my father's sons again. It tells you about my haplogroup, right? So mainly distributed areas, Africa, Middle East, and Mediterranean littoral, right? Amharas, Bantuas, and Allura, okay? So a lot of these guys had African DNA and didn't know it, okay? And then here, on my mother's side, let me go ahead and do this, or I may be covered up, but you got haplogroup H, HV, right? 20,000, 25,000 years ago, West Asia, Europe, as I said she was, I told you guys she was, Middle East and North Africa, Basque and Tuareg, okay, and I told you guys North Africa, right? To my Moroccan brothers out there, on my rap group, on my rappers. Okay, I'm gonna go see what else I got that corresponds with this, and put it on pause. Okay, welcome back. 31 minutes in. Oh my goodness. Okay, but we're nearing the end part. Okay, this is my maternal lineage. Okay, so your journey begins here. Okay, now you're gonna watch how my mother. You're gonna watch how my mother started in Africa for hundreds of thousand years. Then about 65,000 years ago, she travels out of Africa, and then you'll see the different faces. So hopefully I can bring that up. But I happen to take snapshots. Okay, so my maternal lineage begins here. It tells you this. We'll scroll down, and then we'll come back up and hit the arrow key. You can read that. Next step. Okay, so they have pictures that go along with it. You got the arrows there. Oops. I'll read a little bit. It says branch L3, 67,000 years ago, location East Africa. The woman descendants would eventually account for both out of Africa maternal lineage, significant populations in Africa, and take part in the Atlantic slave trade. Right, so the one that don't get out, this is what happens to them. Okay, related dispersals from Africa. Okay, so I'm gonna go down there, and if you have the L category, L0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or different mutations in Africa, okay, you can, the mitochondrial E by popular press, okay. You can read the history there. We'll be here for hours if I did. So the African Ice Age was characterized by drought rather than cold. Okay, point of interest, let's read that. Okay, the L branch shared by all women alive today, both in Africa and around the world, because that's where life begins, so we all have L in us. The L3 branch is a major maternal branch from which all mitochondrial DNA lineages outside of Africa arose, and that's why I have it, okay? So northern Ethiopia, look at the pictures. This is the Yemeni. Okay, and we back to the beginning. Okay. The next step. Okay, let's just go ahead and page up. So notice that the arrow moved, the dot moved. So she's now out of Africa into the Middle East. Haplogroup N. So this tells you about 65,000 years ago, East Africa or Asia. You can read that. Descendants of L3, yes. If you're reading this, you can just put it on pause. Notable people today that show that this lineage belongs to. Ann Curry, she's a news personality. For those of you outside the United States. Now notice how his face changed, right? The people are changing. Azerbaijan, the land between Caspian and Black Seas. To Iranian, I told you that my mother's ancestry. I mentioned that when she left Africa, she went to Iran and Pakistan, and that my family on another website is buried in Syria. They found our DNA there. Saudi Arabia. And back. The arrow again moved again. Haplogroup R. I think Prince William and are in its haplogroup. 37 minutes in. Wow, this is a long video, but it's my archive, so notice how his face is changing. See? So it's showing you what my mother and her family, my ancestral mother and her family looked like before they come to the United States, right? From my research, they would meet Nigerians in the United States. That's what my research shows. They obviously don't look like me, okay? West Asia. You can read that. Point of interest, descendants of this line dominate the European maternal landscape, making up 75 to 95% of the lineage there. Many people of Turkestan, blah, blah, blah. I shouldn't say that. This is my archive. You can just read it. Again, go pictures. Woman of the Arabian Peninsula may descend from this maternal grandmother. She was born 64,000 years ago. And that's why I said, I don't know if that's the same person that's there now. When you talk about Morocco and these places here, I cannot say that that's the same person that I'm related to because they have to take a test. And this test is over with. But still take another test. Okay. You can see where the red dot is at now. So if you follow that red dot, you see how she's moving. Now it's at haplogroup R0. Look at the faces. So I'm sort of able to look at what my mother's mother looked like. And I did not know this until I took a DNA test. I thought she was from Africa, taken off a slave ship. And it appeared that no, I was wrong. So So this is my haplogroup HV, and if you remember in the last one when I showed from WeGene and the other one, haplogroup HV, I said I'm HV2, HV2A2, but this is the group here. Notice again the photos. You can read all this. Hopefully you have a tablet or something. I'm not going to read it, but you could just pause and read it. And today, members of this line are particular population of Europe, West Asia, including Anatolia and the Caucasus Mountains of South Russia and the Republic of Georgia. The lineage accounts for more than 21% of Armenian. Look at the photos of this region. Okay, some descendants are now part of East Africa were introduced by Arab slave trade. So there's the Arab. This is what I did read about the Arab slave trade as well. And this is supposed to represent the heat map, I guess, of how the family traveled out. I'm at 42 minutes, so I'm going to try and go to my paternal. This is my paternal line. So I'll try and go fast. I'm not sure how large a file they allow me to upload. Look at all that. So you guys just have to pause and go. I want to make sure I get a snapshot of everything. Oops. Okay. Take a snapshot. This is my paternal lineage, my father's lineage. Go ahead and read that. Pause. So you watch the arrow begin to move. Read a point of interest. Photos. See that arrow moved again. See got more arrows coming out. Note the date difference. Pause and read. The male branch is one of the first to leave the African homeland. Photos from the region. Maasai. Yep, I have some of that Kenyan in me. Okay, so it's going near the tip. It's getting ready to head out of Africa. Photos from this region. Okay, M96. They're going up northeast. Branch, M96. You're going to pause and read. It's still in the north or the east, or it's still in the east, I should say. So saying not much movement here on this branch. So it's like they stood there for a while in the same spot. No major movement there either. So they stood there for a while. My father's side did. My mother's side left 65,000 years ago. He's still there. Let me see. Okay. But they don't know how old it is yet. Location and origins, East Africa. But look at the photos there. See, when I said both my parents left Africa, that's where he's at right now. Let me see. Yeah, so he's out of Africa now. And that's what I was saying. They actually have him going out into Asia. See, so they located in East Africa. Take a look at the photos. Bosnian woman. The Italian. Sardinia. See the photos again. And that's what I meant by what I don't know, that both of my family left Africa thousands of years ago. My mother was first around 65,000 years ago. My father was second, what looked about 20,000 years ago, because they stood in that east spot for a while. Then he goes out. So when you go back to Morocco, and that's where they mapped my final DNA at, on a DNA goes deeper than this, they went up north, okay? And that's what I get from my studies. And that's what you see here, which is hence why they look different than me. Again, that's the movement on it, V12, so we're at about the ending on it. So this man was born in Egypt, and that's what I said before, surrounding many of his descendants. That spread across northeast Africa, and from there the trans-Mediterranean journey to Europe. Okay, so then between that time, just go ahead and read all that. This is the heat map for it. I think that shows the travel that they're tracing it. Okay, so we're back to maternal. Let me go ahead and pause. Okay, we're nearing the end. So I got just a couple of snapshots from Family Tree DNA, which supports GENO. They went further. For the price, GENO was probably the best because they got me right to the edge. But this just confirms it to the end. Okay, so we're going to go here. Okay, let my head down. And you'll see that my full paternal haplogroup, Y-DNA, is ECTS10132. And my full confirmed maternal haplogroup is HV2A2. Okay, and let me see, you got this here. This is my haplogroup map. It tells you, it points there at haplogroup HV, and it says haplogroup R0HVH and V is the Ice Age, right? R0HVH and V are the most frequent set of lineage in Europe. After the last ice age, the glaciers retreated and these haplogroups spread across Europe. And my paternal side, this is my paternal lineage. Just telling you who my father's father is. So, he's haplogroup EM35, which is the same thing as the number that I rattle off. You can go down the numbers and you'll see the numbers there. All right, you see 693 down there. And the North African lineage is commonly found throughout North Africa countries and therefore closely linked to people of Arab cultures. It is also found at low frequencies in the Middle East. Okay, that should be it from our archive. This thing is 54 minutes long. I'm going to push this up. If you stayed along and watched, great. If not, this is from my records, my personal records. And I'll have this share the rest of my life and pass down to my family. All right, you guys take care. Have a good one.